It's now time for our third interview of the show. And back in May, before schools were rescheduled to go back, we spoke to Malikah Swail, a grade 12 learner at Elsie's River High, who was one of the students who wrote a letter to the president about their concerns on the reopening of schools. Today I'm chatting to her again, this time about what it was like going back to school and how it feels with them being closed again. Malikah, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me again.
And for those that might have missed it, could you briefly tell us a bit more about the letter that you wrote back then to the president?
Okay, so basically my letter was an open letter to President Cyril Ramaphosa and our Minister of Basic Education, and Sheikha and other government officials. And the letter was basically about the reopening of schools, which was scheduled to happen on June the 1st. And in the letter, I spoke and expressed my fears about the reopening of schools and the challenges that it poses not only to learners but to our teachers as well.
And what was it actually like going back to school?
It was most definitely challenging and most definitely different as well, because we are really not used to doing things the way it's done now. And I think all learners and teachers included, we aren't used to coming to school, first having to go for screening, constantly having our temperatures taken, constantly sanitizing our hands. And we are definitely not used to sitting with a mask for hours and not being able to be close to our friends because we constantly need to maintain social distance. And we are also so used to seeing our teachers smile, but now you don't really see an expression on their faces. You basically just see eyes, so it's so much different compared to how it was back then.
Well, Malikah, thank you so much for joining me once again on RX Radio Breakfast. It's been great to catch up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are listening to RX Radio.
For and by children.
RX Radio. RX Radio rocks.